AmeriCorps 101 for YouthBuild staff. You may not be the AmeriCorps coordinator at your YouthBuild program, but initiatives like these are often a team effort. So we wanted to take some time to make you aware of the priorities and the benefits of national service, so you can be prepared to help our young leaders be successful in their service terms. Before we get into that, we wanted to take a moment to welcome you to the club. Of the 260 YouthBuild programs across the United States, currently 65 are also AmeriCorps sites. This makes us one of the largest national direct grantees of AmeriCorps Federal. Since 1994, 25,000 members have given over 12 million hours of service. And that's just our part of this national service movement. Every year, AmeriCorps engages over 270,000 Americans in service to their communities. There's been about 1 million alumni since the program started in the early 90s, and those alumni have served over 1.6 billion hours. So just what is AmeriCorps? Well, simply put, AmeriCorps is service, engaging young people in service to their community, almost like a domestic peace. This idea is not a new one. The United States has a tradition of national service reaching all the way back to 1933 with the creation of the Civilian Conservation Corps. Other programs, like Volunteers in Service to America, or VISTA, the Peace Corps, were established in the 1960s. And then finally, in the 90s, AmeriCorps was created to bring a lot of these initiatives under the same umbrella. Service is also part of the DNA of YouthBuild. In 1978, when our founder, Dorothy Stoneman, sat down with a group of young people in East Harlem and asked them if she could bring resources into that community, what would they want to do? And they were the ones that chose community service, particularly community service as it relates to the refurbishing of low-income housing for people who need it. Dorothy was also at the table in the 90s when AmeriCorps was established, making sure that this was a resource not only for the privileged young people of America, but also for our young people to be able to connect with their communities and give back themselves. So just what are the benefits of AmeriCorps? This is extra work for a YouthBuild program. So what kind of things does this initiative bring? Well, first and foremost is the Segal AmeriCorps Education Award. Your young people, for completing a set amount of hours in their term of service, will earn a scholarship towards their further education. Now, they must earn their GED or high school diploma to use this award, but they'll have 7 years to use the award after they've been exited, so this resource will be there waiting for them when that certification occurs. It's most commonly used for costs at qualified institutions of higher education, for training or to repay student loans, but it can also sometimes be used towards the cost of attendance, such as tuition, books, or supplies. Another benefit for a YouthBuild program to join the national service movement is collective impact. One way we do this is through National Days of Service. These are days that were designated by the federal government as opportunities for us to go big and really be conspicuous with the good that we're doing in our communities. Another benefit of this initiative is participation in the Conference of Young Leaders, or COIL, which is our national leadership conference for YouthBuild AmeriCorps members put on each year in Washington, D.C. This is a really great week-long event which is facilitated by YouthBuild USA, but all the content is put together by leaders in our alumni network. So young people can not only see the scope of the YouthBuild movement, but also learn from those who walked the steps before them. Being part of the AmeriCorps initiative also gives YouthBuild programs the opportunity to reflect on their culture. We do our best to create resources and provide technical assistance that will help you expand your impact, make sure that you have the systems in place to protect the investment, and create an incredible life experience for the young people. One of the ways we do this is through AmeriCorps identity. Everybody wants to be part of something, our young people more than most. Service is something that can sound like a penalty, but when we flip the script on being involved with the community, it really does create a new mindset for our young people. And wearing our branding and being part of the national movement really makes them feel like they're part of a greater force of good in this country. The Pyramid of Purpose is our framework for discussing this work. We spend a lot of time talking about the foundation, protecting this investment, putting in place the policies and procedures and systems that will make sure that this resource is available for cohorts of young people in the future. We also talk a lot about the Education Award and the doors of opportunity that it opens, as well as the impact, not just the impact you're having in the community, but also on your members and the program itself. All of this is to create the best member experience possible for each one of our young leaders, so they're not just prepared for the job market, but they're inspired to do great things in their life. And all of this is bound together by the culture of service, and we do spend a lot of time talking about that too. Getting young people excited through service learning or proper reflection techniques, so the things that they're doing out in the community really feel impactful and worthwhile. One of the best benefits of joining AmeriCorps for a YouthBuild program is added capacity. Our team here at the national office care a lot about your success, and each program that joins the initiative will be assigned a portfolio manager or program contact, as well as a fiscal manager that can help get your systems tight and in really good shape. We're always here to help out. We're always looking to develop new things and make us all better collectively. So if you work at a YouthBuild program and you're not directly involved with the AmeriCorps work, what things should you be aware of when it comes to AmeriCorps and national service? There are a few. Even though this work might be assigned to one or two staff at your program, it really is a group effort to make sure it's done correctly. Well, first of all, it is complicated. This is a federal resource, so there's a lot of regulations to follow and responsibilities when it comes to documentation and systems. Fortunately, a lot of these regulations will be met by procedures you already have at your YouthBuild program. The one thing that is unique to this work is the National Service Criminal History Check. In order to serve as an AmeriCorps member or be covered by an AmeriCorps budget, there's a very specific background check procedure that must be followed. This includes a National Sex Offender Public Website check, a state check for the state of service and state of residence if applicable, and a fingerprint-based FBI check. So who needs to undergo this very specific background check? Well, anyone in a covered position. A covered position is anyone who's receiving a salary, a stipend, living allowance, or an education award from this grant. So all members, and then also all grant-supported staff, whether the AmeriCorps budget pays for part of their funding or their salary is used as match for this grant. So what are we looking for in this procedure? Really, there are only two things that can make you ineligible for AmeriCorps service or AmeriCorps support, and that's being convicted of murder or registered or required to be registered on a sex offender registry. Another thing to be aware of is not all the time that the young people spend at your program is going to be creditable towards their service term goals. There are certain things that fall outside of their AmeriTime. So let's talk about those. First of which is the prohibited activities of this grant. AmeriCorps is meant for everyone. So we have to make sure that while we're wearing the logo and crediting young people's hours towards their service term, that we're not getting involved in anything political, anything religious, providing a benefit for for-profit organizations. Now, some of these things might be appropriate at your YouthBuild program, but they're just not going to be appropriate for AmeriCorps credit or while wearing the AmeriCorps logo. Also, not all of their education time at the program is going to be creditable towards their goals. No more than 20% of a member's total hours can be training hours at exit. Now this could be GED classroom time, this could be vocational training time. These are definitely hours that they will easily get because, as you know, at a YouthBuild program, half of our time is usually spent in instruction. But yeah, when it comes to their AmeriCorps Education Award goal, only 20% of the total goal can be training time. So that's pretty much it. Obviously there's more to know, but those are the broad strokes of what to be aware of if you work at a YouthBuild program that's also an AmeriCorps program.